How's it going, everybody? My name's Isaac, and I have to re-record this because my mic was muted the whole time. So yeah, don't worry, that's only the intro that I have to re-record. But what's it called? I'm here with part two of Fire Force thing. It was supposed to be a whole video, but due to editing limitations on Share Factory and PlayStation, since I don't have any other software to edit, I have to use this. And since it won't let me do that, I have to cut it down into two videos. Which, it's fine, I can do that. Which is why I did it. So that's why it can't be one whole thing. It really sucks, but it's whatever. It's gotta roll with it. And so this video is gonna pick up right where the other one left off. It's gonna pick up where they start the Hajime arc. I'm excited. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of it. Hope you guys have your own opinions about the show if you watched it, or would like to watch it if this piqued your interest. But I'll check you out later. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you have a great day. Peace. Was actually in season one. He was a kid, and he was a kid that was affected by a man. I think, I don't know his full name, but I think it's Rekka Horimiya. But the guy who was crazy, he was literally insane, working with the evangelist in Company One. He, what's it called? The kid got a flame bug put into him, and he got powers. And so he's been at Hajime ever since being tested on. And Shinra has a special spot in Hajime because he used to be there as well. Since his powers awoke when his family allegedly died, he was also there for a good majority of his early youth. And so Shinra has some beef with this. And then once this dude named shows or goes with him, Licht, and they go together. Because Licht still works for Hajime. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm a spy from Hajime. And they're like, oh yeah, we know. It's fine. I mean, you're cool at least. So the Company 8's not surprised by that. And so they're like, alright, let's use this to our advantage. So they go together. Yep, they go together. And actually, what episode did it start at? It starts at episode 13 and ends at 18. 17 actually. But yeah. So they're doing all that. They get in there. Shinra is basically going in to get tested for his Adola. And we see in the beginning that there's this guy. I forgot his name. Let me see. Did it mention this guy's name? Kurino, there you go. So we see the kid who, yep, Ritsu. His name is Ritsu. He's fighting a guy named Kurino, who basically is a guy who enjoys beating up on kids because they're weak. He likes enjoying beating up weak people. He's not a good person, at all. He's not a good person. He suffers from tephrosis, so his powers are basically smoke. And he's strong. He's literally rumored to be as strong as Benimaru. So this dude's no pushover. But yeah, so he's beating up Ritsu, and it's not enjoyable. It is not enjoyable at all. It's hard to watch. And so he's just there yeah, you're weak. Stay like that. And so Shinra shows up, and he's like, alright, let's box. So they're running tests on the fight. And the plan was for Shinra and Link to go in, get information on Hajime, all that sort of stuff. All the pretty things. And so basically, Vulcan hates it here. He's waiting outside, waiting for them to storm the building that they're in. And Licht is like, alright, Captain, there's something going on here. And Vulcan's like, alright, we're going in. We're going. And so they rush the base. And Licht over here, being a team player, he gets more and more of an affinity towards Company 8. And, it's lit. Awesome. It's character development. And so they start doing that. The evangelists show up outside as Maki and Vulcan are fighting them. It's a three-way battle between Hajime, Company 8, and the evangelists. So all this is going on. A bunch of skirmishes are happening. Everybody gets outside of the building and they start fighting outside. They're scrapping. And Haumea, since she's there, Haumea, Inca, Charon, Arrow, um, Inca. Wait, did I say her? Haumea, Inca, Charon, Arrow, and another girl. I forgot her name. I do not care about her. So yeah, like 5 people from Evangelist show up. They're boxing everybody else. Basically, Hajime and Company 8 work together to take down the Evangelist. And while this is going on, Ritsu's over here having a mental breakdown because of the bug that Rekka put in him. He's been basically mentally controlling him even after he died. And so it's been mentally destroying him. He has so much pressure on him, and he literally turns into an inferno, like, or at least like part of him does. And so now the goal is to stop him, to the point where literally everybody from Hajime, Evangelist, and Company 8 starts working together. And the person that kills him, or kills the inferno, that's controlling, what's it called? Ritsu, because you know how Maya was the one that did it. It was Kurano, the same guy that was beating up Ritsu in the beginning. And he's like, yeah, you're weak. You should stay like that. You don't need no pressure. You're a kid. Stay weak. As like a kind of like a sentimental moment between them. And Charon's like, yeah, it's not a healthy relationship, but it's their relationship, so you know, who are we to judge them? And Shino's like, I guess. And so Company 8, like Obi, Vulcan, and Shinra, along with Leaked, go to Hajime Industries, like the top dogs. And they're talking about what they're gonna do from here on out, and they strike a deal basically. They will need to use people to run Amaterasu, since that's one thing that we actually learned. I forgot to mention that actually. So we find out that Amaterasu and the Tabernacle are literally fueled by people with what's it called? Firepower. And so Shinra was like, if I had to sacrifice myself to run the Tabernacle, I would. If it meant nobody else had to. And Obi's like, yeah, but that's the thing. You're better alive than you are dead. So you know, don't think like that. You're a Fire Force soldier. And so Vulcan's like, yeah, nigga, don't do that. Instead, I'll build something better that won't need to run on people. And so they strike a deal. As long as they don't hurt Ritsu or experiment on any of them, and increase the like conditions of them in the Hajime, I think it's Company 3, then Vulcan will build something even better than the Tabernacle and Amaterasu to run and sustain Japan. And Hajime can take all the credit for it and the name and everything, as long as they do it. And they come to a deal. And next is the second to final arc, the Nether Part 2. And basically it starts with Maki going back to her family, see their family. They're making fun of her because she's really buff now compared to what she was before. Her dad's voiced by Chris Sabat, or Vegeta and Piccolo. And her brother and her mom. Everybody basically in the family was in the military, or it still is in the military. And they're talking. Maki talks about her experiences going to the Nether, doing a bunch of stuff with Company 8. Her family does not like Lieutenant Hinua because he was the one that recruited her. And so what's it called? Next time that we see Maki in the company, it's because her family forced her to resign from Company 8. Literally, like, they forced her because it was too dangerous. They see her brother mostly sees it as too dangerous because of a recent expedition that he did, where he himself went into the Nether and he almost died. And so he's like, yeah, no, my sister shouldn't be doing this. I think it's perfectly fine for her to leave and go back to the military as a secretary. So that's what they forced her to do. She goes back to the military and becomes a secretary. She hates it. She completely hates it because Company 8 is her family, basically. Her second family. Leaving them like that basically like rids her of her purpose of fighting, you know? Like, fighting for good. Using her power. He's doing something, you know? So she's just there bored out of her mind. And while she's gone, since she's not there anymore, Company 8 and Company 2, which is the military branch of the Fire Force, team up. Since Company 8 has experience with the Nether, and Company 2 has the firepower, they team up together to storm the Nether, get information, and basically like kind of like an expedition, but more like forceful compared to what it was the first time. Actually, I forgot to mention, Lisa is she's in Company 8 now, like not like a member, but more like Tamaki in her case, where they're there, but they might as well be considered members. And Lisa's just there with Vulcan, and she still has PTSD. She has short hair, but she's Lisa, you know? It's fire. I forgot who voices her, but I think it's the same person that voices Suzaha. I think Lucy too, actually. I don't remember what her name is, but her voice is fire, and I love her voice like as a female voice actress. If any girl in the show has her voice, they're immediately my favorite girl. It's awesome. But yeah, so they go to the Nether, things go right immediately. The evangelists are there, but they basically led them into the Nether. They were betting on everybody coming. And Shinra and Arthur fight Giovanni, the same guy from season 1. And he's fire, you know. I thought it was fire that he came back, even though I don't like him as a person. I thought it was cool that he came back, and he's a lot different physically. He's a lot different. And then on the other side, you got Lieutenant Hinawa and Maki's brother who came along, since he also went to the Nether. They're fighting together and they're bickering about Maki, or more like her brothers bickering because of the fact that Hinawa put her in danger, and he was like she was a useful asset, you know. She did her job in the team, and she was cool. On the other hand, Obi, Vulcan, and some other people are fighting some other people. You got Tamaki and Juggernaut, and I forgot what this dude's name is. Um, no, not that. That's not the person. Dang, they really don't mention his name. Well, I guess I gotta look it up. But yeah, so Tamaki, Juggernaut from the expedition, and nope, no, Fire Force, Juggernaut, Orochi kills. Who was it? Hajiki. There you go. It was Hajiki. He was sick. He literally had a power where he could shoot guns and just like it was so sick. It was so dope. He dies immediately. It was so crazy because a evangelist called Orochi shows up, and now it's just Tamaki and Juggernaut, people who really aren't known for fighting. So they're boxing him out. Or Juggernaut has this really cool moment. Hajiki's memories of him, like, come on, man, you gotta be more confident. You know, like trying to boost his confidence, you know, trying to give him more of a confidence boost. This dude really is powerful. He's strong. It's just that he's too, what's it called, too scared, and has low self-esteem, so he can't really do much. Juggernaut avenges Hajiki. Sick moment, really sick moment. I enjoyed so much, like, Juggernaut, Tamaki, and Hajiki, and like their dynamic, and their whole scene honestly was so dope. Along with their character development, since it leads to other actions in the next arc, the final arc that's left. So their scenes together were dope. Then you got Captain Obi and all of them. Captain Obi's a monster. I don't know what's good with him. Like, but regardless, all their stuff was going on. They did their fights, and now, what's it called? While all that's going on, Arthur and Shinra are fighting Giovanni again. They can't kill him. They can't kill him. He's learning more and more about the Adola Link, saying like, oh, well, actually, he had an Adola burst with Shinra in season 1, so he's thanking him so much and all that. And he got a bunch of valuable information, so he scurries off. Meanwhile, everybody gathers back together. Since it was a trap, a bunch of people, and I mean like a bunch of people died. So many people died in this excursion. And more people are going to die because there's an explosion that's going to happen in the Nether that's going to blow up Tokyo. Like, it's gonna funnel through the Nether, which is underground, up into the surface and kill everybody. They got turned into infernals. So they're like, all right, we need somebody to control the fire, and then we can dissipate it underground. And they're like, oh, you know who could have done that? Tamaki could have, or not Tamaki, Maki could have. And then Taki's like, her brother is like, oh, shut up, nigga, I can do it. And in the beginning of this whole arc, Vulcan gave Maki like a gift of the departure gift, and it was basically a transceiver, so she could hear everything that was going on. And she came. She literally arrived. She showed up, and she's like, "All right, bet. Let me show you what I can do." She controls the fire like a beast, like an actual mage, evil wizard, sorcerer, witch type thing. It was so dope. And what's it called? They dissipate it underground, and they stopped a whole cataclysm from happening. It was lit. And basically, it shows that Maki can handle herself. She can come back to Company 8. So she does. And this Nether, what I really liked about this Nether was the fact that it was nowhere near as successful as the first one. A lot of people died, and if anything, people could consider it a failure for what happened. So many people died. They got baited into a trap. The city almost blew up, and they left with less. Like they left with less more than they came in here. Like completely, it was a complete failure. It was another part two, but it wasn't a good part two. Like as in like it was nowhere near as successful. So I really enjoyed it. You know, it was different. And then they go back to the surface. Maki's just over here like, yep, I'm lit. And now it's time for my favorite arc in the season. My favorite and final arc of the season. And it is Shinra and Hibana. They go to Company 7 in Asakusa to find Conroe. And this time, right, I've been thinking this whole time, like, oh yeah, Conroe, right? Conroe looks like a beast. He looks like a complete savage that if we were able to see him when he was fighting in his prime, it would have been over. He would have been so saucy. And lo and behold, I was right, because when they show up to find Conroe, they see him nearby a riverbed, and they see him talking to an evangelist. But this evangelist was sent to kill him. And so Conroe's over here like, yeah, alright, try it. And he pulls out his katana like some type of old age Japanese samurai. He slices him in half. This dude was crazy. Conroe's so fire. And so they're talking, and Conroe's talking about an Adola burst, since they were asking him about it. And the reason why he doesn't fight anymore, because of the fact that there was the Inferno that he was fighting was literally a clone of him, basically, fighting almost the exact same way. But Conroe beat him because, you know, Conroe's literally a savage, and he had an Adola burst with him, an Adola link, excuse me. And so he was telling them about that, and Shinra's like, hey, you think Benimaru can train me some more? I was like, alright, let's go find him. He asked him, and he's like, yeah, sure. And so the next day, they come back, Shinra, along with Arthur, and surprise guest, Tamaki. So they show up together, and then Hibana and the captain of Company 6, which is the medical field for Fire Force, the leader of that, she shows up, and they're like, alright, Conroe, tell us more, nigga, tell us more. And so they're basically running some tests on him, listening to his story, all that. And on the other hand, Tamaki's like, oh, Benimaru, please, teach me. And he's like, alright, bet. And then he brings out the two twins. I forgot their name, but they make Daji together. Where are they? Where are they? Oh, it's just the final. Okay. Alright. Well, I'm not gonna remember their name, I'm not gonna look. But those two, the twins that were in season 1 and in season 2, they're like, or Benimaru's like, if you can catch these two, like or if they don't catch you, excuse me, if they don't catch you in 30 seconds, if you can evade them for that long, you win, and I'll train you even more. And she's like, all right, I won't go too easy, or I won't go too hard on these guys. They're kids. And they're like, all right, listen, if you're not gonna go easy on us, we're not gonna bother with you. Like, we're here to train you. we're not here to play around. Like, if you don't start getting serious, we will kill you. And then, lo and behold, Tamaki gets serious, and her full, like, a good amount of her power comes out. Like, since we learned that Tamaki was actually suppressing her power because of the fact that, like, she would get bullied and harassed a lot in school because of her lucky lecture. Yeah, lucky lecture. Which, I always saw it as annoying. Like, it can be funny sometimes, but there was a scene in the Nether where she showed up with her full Fire Force armor on, and Lucky Lecture come on, and then she was completely naked. I was just like, come on, man, this is supposed to be her moment. But, like, Lucky Lecture does have its negatives, like, all because it's a gag doesn't mean that it's not a negative thing. And seeing how it affects her and her life and all that, like, it's really cool, honestly. Like, it's really cool that we get to see that. So I was like, yo, Tamaki Lord, let's go. So I was lit. And she's evading him, she's doing all that, and she actually escapes him once she gets, like, really serious. And she does it. She wins. 30 seconds pass. Benimaru say, like, hey, you did it, lit, alright. It seems like you were suppressing your power, so let's work on that. Meanwhile, Shira and Arthur are getting crucified, boiled alive, hung over a pit of fire, literally getting dragged by their personal area coverings, aka like a toga cloth. Well, not even a toga cloth, a loincloth, that's what it's called. They're being dragged by the loincloth, all to find out what they need to do, right, for the training, because they're trying to learn about the death mark. What is it called? Let me see. Death press. That's what it's called. The press of death. Such a sick scene. Alright. They're trying to learn the press of death because it basically lets them fight with their primal instinct. Literally like Ultra Instinct type thing where you're not fighting anymore because you're fighting. You're fighting to survive. It doesn't matter what you do. You are literally pushing your body, like, past adrenaline and all that point. You are fighting to live. Like, so it's crazy, right? And they're going through all this torture, and they're like, Benimaru, what are we doing this for? Why? And he's like, I don't know. Kondo did it to me, and it worked somehow. Like, I don't know why it worked, though. I guess there's no reason for it. And these dudes, like, it's like when Gohan went Super Saiyan 2, like, the line that flashes across the screen, they literally, they snap. And they're like, oh, we did this for nothing, huh? We did this for nothing? And they start attacking, and they blitz him. And he's like, I'm sorry, Captain, with all due respect, I hate you right now. And he's like, alright, well, if you're coming to attack me with the intent to kill, then you better be serious about it. And then he pulls out, like, a devilish, like, crazy devilish a quote like that. And he starts attacking both of them, but with the intent to kill. And they're boxing. They're literally boxing. Both of them, or all three of them, are boxing, or two of them are boxing him, basically. And they're fighting for like 6 hours straight, and they're running out of fire, and they're on the verge of getting to Frosis. And so Tamaki's like, "What? Are you sure we should keep doing this? Like, they seem like they're almost dead." And he's like, "This is what it is. If they don't learn how to fight on the edge of death, and if they die, this is the training that they signed up for. This is what they have to do to learn the press of death." Oh man, so sick. And so Shinra and Arthur are over here geeking. They're literally losing their minds. And so Shinra has this really sick speech. Such a sick speech in his mind about death, fight or flight. And I don't even want to do it, like, I can't do it justice, so I'm not even trying to go over it, but I'm just saying, like, the 24th episode, The Press of Death. Look up that speech if you want to see something really sick. It's so dope. So he has this whole mental game between himself, like, can he do it? Can he fight beyond, like, his limits? Beyond death? Can he live to fight, or is he going to die here? It's like, it's coming to grips with the fact that he may die here. So, he does, like, he surpasses his limits, and the whole aura around him changes along with Arthur. They both had that same like battle in themselves, and they unleash the press of death, the survival instinct, the urge to keep fighting even when on death's door. And so Benimaru was like, "Hey, you guys did it. All right. Next is trying to activate this at will." And so he's like, "What?" And then they collapse. And the last episode actually is ooh, the last episode. The last episode has a really huge spoiler. An important. My goodness, I can't talk. Yo, an important character dies, and it's like I don't know if I should mention it. I already mentioned that a bunch of other characters die. Oh, whatever. I said spoilers in the title, anyways. All right. Captain Hagu dies. He dies in his room because an evangelist clad in gold armor comes and kills him. But since the Fire Force, like, this can't be leaked, they rule it as a suicide. When in reality, people know this was not a suicide. And so Captain Hagu's death sparks more like worry, but curiosity, like what is going on, what is happening. And this just leads to Shinra getting more resolve, like we have to investigate. We have to stop and the cause of infernalization. We have to stop the evangelists. We have to learn more about this world. We have to stop this. We can't have any more Captain Hagus. And they resolved, Company 8, they're all together like, alright, let's do it. This is a battle against the White Clads. We gotta keep fighting, because nobody else will. And they're like, yep, nobody else will. And it's cool because there's been some theories at the end of the season, because this is the final episode, of like theories of Soul Eater and Fire Force being connected. I haven't read the manga, so I can't substantiate them. But man, if that's true, because the Soul Eater moon shows up in Fire Force, whether it's a stylistic choice or not, it's cool that it's actually there. And if it was connected, oh man, that'd be so fire. That'd be so fire. But yeah, that's Fire Force season 2. And in my humble opinion, this season was great. This season by far was like it surpassed season 1 for me. It was so sick. It had that one arc that I didn't like too much. It had the greatest arc that I loved a lot. It had Benimaru, it had Joker, it had Leonard Burns. Company 8 was doing Company 8 things. Sick characters, Ogun, Pan, Hajiki, Garasaso. Giovanni came back. Hagu was pretty cool. All these characters, Tamaki got some character development for once. Like, bro, what? That's so sick. Oh man, like I can't stress this enough. Season 2 got me so hyped to read the manga or just wait for season 3. Like, it piques my interest so bad to the point where if Soul Eater and Fire Force are connected, I would go back to watch Soul Eater like again. I would do it and read the manga for that and everything too. So I'm just so excited. So excited to see what happens next, man. And beyond a doubt, I'm going to watch it and review the season once that comes out. I'm so, man, I'm so excited. But yeah, my favorite arcs, like from bottom to from least favorite to most favorite. Least favorite by far was the Hajime one. Kurano was cool with his power, but I did not like him. And not the same way that I didn't like Inka. The story makes sure I didn't like him. Inka, I just do not like at all. Like, even if the story tried to make me like her, I did not like her at all. And I won't. But yeah. So that's the bottom, and then you got the next arc, which was the what's it called, the Inca one. I didn't like Inca at all, but I still like that arc more than the Hajime one. And then you got the expedition, the Chinese expedition. Oh my goodness, that was fire. That Chinese expedition was so sick. Like top 3 arcs in the show for me right now. Top 3. And then next was the Joker and Benimaru stuff. That stuff was so dope. Oh yo. Oh my goodness. So fire. So fire. But yeah, after that, it was the final arc. Like, without a doubt, it was the final arc. It was literally only 2 episodes, but bro, oh my goodness. Were those 2 episodes the best 2 episodes I've seen in a long time? Oh my gosh, it was so dope. It was so sick. But yeah, I can definitely say without a doubt that I enjoyed this season. I enjoyed it more than season one, which I thought was impossible, and it has me even more excited for what's to come. The anticipation for the next season and the hype is at an all-time high right now, and I can't wait to see what happens next. If I had to rate it at its peak, the show, like when it got hype, it was a 9.5. At its lowest, it was a 6.5 for me. But was it ever below a 5? No, never. So I can say for sure that this show I would recommend, and I'm going to keep following the more it comes out. I'm so glad my friend recommended it to me. Such a good recommendation. So dope. And if I could say anything about it, I say give it a chance. If you're put off by that lucky lecture stuff and the fan service, at least give it a chance. The fan service is dope. And if you like it, then I mean, hey, that's another fire show. But again, like overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. At the highest, a 9.5. At its lowest, a 6. And oh man, I'm telling you guys, I'm so excited. But yeah, that was the Fire Force review that I've been meaning to do for the past couple of months, but I haven't. And now it's just to wait to season 3. Or if I start the manga, I can talk about that. But that'll be all for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been the Fire Force review. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but it may be well over 50 minutes. If it is, hey, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. But yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll stay safe and I'll check y'all out. Peace.